The laughter dies the moment she walks in. Ilara Voss, the ghost they thought was buried in another life, steps into the sunlit courtyard of the vineyard. Her eyes, storm gray, unblinking, cut through the champagne bubbles and silk smiles. 3 years ago, this same group watched her lose everything. Her fiancé, her reputation, her peace. Now she's back in ivory heels that click like a metronome for vengeance. Celeste Marlowe, 28, the glowing bride, freezes mid-laugh, her hand tightening around Adrian Vale's arm. He's 31, handsome in a rehearsed way, but guilt flickers behind his charm. The air thickens. Naomi Marlowe, 45, dressed in gold and control, watches with the faintest trace of dread. Ilara smiles, soft and sharp. "Don't stop on my account," she says. The vines sway in the wind, whispering promises of reckoning. "What would you do if your betrayers invited you to celebrate their victory?" Ilara moves through the courtyard like smoke. Untouchable, uninvited, unstoppable. Every table holds someone who once whispered her name in scandal. She smiles at them now, one by one, her silence louder than any toast. Somewhere near the fountain, she spots Ezra Quinn, the wedding videographer. His quiet nod is all the confirmation she needs. Everything is set. Her revenge won't come in rage. It will come in pixels. Behind the scenes, the hum of equipment fills a quiet room. Ilara's reflection stares back from the monitor as Ezra uploads the files. The screen flickers Celeste's voice, laughing in a hotel room, caught on hidden camera. Ilara's pulse steadies. The past, once buried, now has teeth. Outside, the vineyard glows under strings of golden lights. Celeste raises her glass for a toast, her smile shimmering but fragile. "To forgiveness," she says. Ilara raises hers too. A silent echo. The irony tastes sweeter than wine. More basic she I'll measure mine. As the evening fades, Ilara walks alone through the vineyard rows. The cicadas hum. In her hand, her phone vibrates. A message from Ezra, all cued. "He'll play at 8 tomorrow." She looks toward the glowing villa. Tomorrow, the truth will stand on the altar. Morning seeps into the vineyard with deceptive calm. The air hums with preparations. Laughter, hairspray, violin strings tuning for perfection. Beneath it all, Ilara's silence is a sharpened edge. She watches the bridal suite from the courtyard below, where Celeste Marlowe spins before a mirror in lace and vanity. Adrian Vale laughs in another room, playing the role of the groom with mechanical ease. Naomi Marlowe commands florists and photographers like soldiers of beauty. Ilara, dressed in slate gray silk, feels nothing but precision. Today, masks will shatter. Inside the bridal suite, mirrors multiply Celeste's reflection. Her makeup artist compliments her glow, but beneath the foundation lies a pulse of fear. She glances at her phone. A message from an unknown number. "Congratulations. You finally got what you stole." Her hands tremble. She looks toward the window where the faint silhouette of Ilara moves among the vines. The past doesn't stay buried. It grows roots. Ezra Quinn moves through the reception hall with quiet purpose. Cameras line the walls disguised as decor. Guests laugh, oblivious. He checks each feed. Every angle aimed, every file ready. Ilara's plan doesn't need chaos yet. It needs patience. The footage on his tablet pulses like a heartbeat. Betrayal ready to bloom. Down by the vineyard's edge, Adrian Vale smokes a cigarette he swore he quit. The morning haze curls around him like guilt made visible. He checks his reflection in his watch. Not vanity, but paranoia. For a moment, he imagines seeing Ilara behind him. When he turns, she's truly there, stepping out from between the vines. Her calm is venom, still running from the truth. she asks softly. He doesn't answer. He just drops the cigarette, and it lands in the dirt like an omen. Back inside, Naomi rehearses her speech, voice dripping elegance. Our family believes in love, she tells the mirror. The lie tastes familiar. Behind her reflection, Ezra passes silently through the hallway with a small drive in his hand. Upstairs, Celeste adjusts her veil. Outside, Ilara closes her eyes, counting heartbeats. The stage is set. Every truth now waits behind glass and pixels. The rehearsal dinner unfolds under chandeliers strung between olive trees, the vineyard glowing like a fairy tale built on rot. Celeste Marlowe laughs too loudly, her eyes darting toward Ilara Voss every few minutes. Adrian Vale swirls his wine, distracted, his mask thinning. Naomi Marlowe keeps the conversation flowing like a director terrified of silence, and Ilara, dressed in black silken poise, sits quietly, letting the tension ferment. To new beginnings, Celeste toasts. Ilara raises her glass, smiling. To unfinished business, she whispers under her breath. Halfway through the meal, the projector flickers once. Just a glitch, unnoticed by most. But not by Ilara. Her heart stirs, not from fear, but anticipation. She catches Ezra's subtle nod from across the courtyard. It's working. The file is ready. The connections live. Celeste keeps glancing at the screen behind her, smiling too hard, as though afraid her past will materialize in front of everyone. The toasts begin. Naomi speaks first, a practiced symphony of charm, motherhood, and manipulation. Every word crafted to erase history. When she says, family is about forgiveness, Ilara almost laughs. Across the table, Adrian, 31 male, avoids her gaze. He knows the word forgiveness doesn't belong to them. Not anymore. As plates are cleared, Adrian excuses himself, stepping into the shadows near the garden. His reflection catches in a window, half groom, half ghost. He senses her before she speaks. You look nervous, Ilara says from behind him, voice quiet as silk cutting glass. You should be. He turns, trying for arrogance, but it slips through his fingers. He mutters, you shouldn't have come. Ilara smiles, slow and dangerous. You shouldn't have lied. Back at the table, Celeste scrolls through her phone under the tablecloth. A single unread message stares back at her. A thumbnail. Her, laughing in a hotel bed beside Adrian, the same video she thought deleted. Her fingers tremble. She looks up to find Ilara watching her. No words, no expression, just the kind of silence that knows everything. The laughter around them fades, leaving only the sound of her heartbeat and the distant hum of the projector. The sky is impossibly blue, the kind that makes lies look innocent. Guests fill the vineyard aisle in a hush of silk and perfume. Celeste Marlowe glides toward the altar, radiant in lace and nerves, her bouquet trembling slightly. Adrian Vale waits, smile practiced, eyes darting once toward the crowd. Naomi Marlowe beams with pride, every gesture rehearsed. Among them sits Ilara Voss, serene, still, eyes like storm glass. The air hums with violins. Nobody notices the faint glow of the projector screen behind the altar, already awake, already waiting. The vows begin. Celeste's voice shakes, but she hides it behind practiced sweetness. Adrian recites his like a script he's memorized to survive. The priest smiles, guests sigh, until a soft click interrupts the music. The projector whirs, the curtain shifts, and suddenly the screen behind them glows to life. Gasps ripple through the rows. The video isn't scandal, it's confession. Faces of people wronged by the couple, staff they mistreated, partners they deceived, employees they crushed for ambition. Their own words fill the air, recorded in arrogance, now turned to truth. A woman's voice fills the vineyard. One of Celeste's former assistants speaking of betrayal, of truth buried beneath luxury. Then another clip follows. Adrian promising loyalty while plotting gain. None of it obscene. Just naked honesty, their own greed turned against them. Celeste's bouquet slips from her fingers. Naomi whispers, "Turn it off." But the system is locked. Alara doesn't move. Her revenge isn't violence, it's exposure. Every lie they told now burns bright for all to see. Voices rise, overlapping. Shock, denial, outrage. Guests look around as if truth were contagious. Adrian Vale shouts at the technicians, but every attempt to silence the screen makes it flare brighter. Celeste Marlowe pleads, "It's not what it looks like." Yet her own words echo from the speakers, unspooling contradiction after contradiction. Naomi Marlowe, perfect posture collapses. Years of control crumble in seconds. Through it all, Alara Voss stands slowly, the wind lifting her dark hair. She doesn't gloat, she just watches. The sound of glass shattering somewhere in the crowd seems to mark the end of their empire of lies. When the screen finally fades to black, silence falls heavy as stone. No one moves. The violinist lowers her bow. A champagne flute tips over in slow motion. Alara steps back from her seat and turns toward the open vineyard path. She doesn't look behind her. She doesn't need to. The truth is louder than vengeance ever could be. Celeste sinks to her knees amid petals and lace. Adrian frozen beside her. Naomi staring through the wreckage. Alara's heels click against the stone path, fading into the hum of the afternoon wind. For a few heartbeats after the screen goes black, no one breathes. Then the sound returns. People arguing, chairs scraping, 1,000 versions of Did You Know, whispering through the air. Celeste Marlowe stands amid it all, veil torn, face pale. Adrian Vale tries to speak, but every word turns to accusation. Naomi Marlowe snaps at photographers to stop filming, but they don't. Alara Voss remains a still point in the chaos, eyes steady, every ounce of pain transformed into quiet release. Security tries to calm the guests, but voices only grow sharper. Someone demands refunds. Someone else calls the press. Adrian shoves through the crowd toward Ezra Quinn, the videographer. "You did this." He spits. Ezra meets his glare steady. "No," he says, "you recorded it." That line breaks something in the air. Truth too loud to deny. Inside the villa, Naomi corners her daughter. "We can fix this," she insists. But Celeste shakes her head, voice small. "You taught me to fake everything." Now they know. The chandeliers above flicker as if even the electricity wants distance. Outside, laughter fades into sirens. Security or gossip, no one can tell. Alara's absence hangs heavier than her presence ever did. Outside, Ezra loads his cameras into a case. Alara appears beside him, the faintest smile ghosting her lips. "You're not staying to see the rest?" he asks. She shakes her head. "It's already done." The vineyard wind carries distant shouting. But here among the vines, it's peaceful. Ezra watches her walk away, half in awe, half in sorrow. The first stars appear. Alara stops at the vineyard's edge, turning once to look back. The music has stopped. Only echoes remain. Her chest rises, steady, no triumph, just freedom. She whispers to herself, "Let them tell their stories. I've told mine." Then she walks on, swallowed by the Tuscan dusk, leaving behind the ghosts she came to bury. Morning spills over the hills, washing the vineyard in calm light. What was chaos hours ago now lies quiet. Tables overturned, flowers wilted. The silence is almost merciful. Alara Voss stands on the balcony of a small inn, overlooking the valley. Hair pulled back, eyes still and clear. For the first time in years, she feels no anger, only space. Revenge didn't fix the past, but it made it visible. She whispers, "Now they can't pretend." The wind carries her words into the sunrise. Back at the estate, workers sweep petals from the courtyard. Naomi Marlowe sits alone under an olive tree, her golden gown traded for a plain white blouse, face bare of makeup. Reporters wait at the gate, but she doesn't move to face them. Her voice trembles as she tells an aide, "I raised her to win, not to be kind." For the first time, truth leaves her lips without force. Celeste Marlowe sits before a mirror again, but this time without the armor. The wedding gown is gone, replaced by jeans and a plain shirt. She watches herself for a long time. No cameras, no applause. When her reflection finally meets her eyes, she whispers, "Maybe now I can start being real." The line trembles, but it's a beginning. Ezra Quinn drives his van down a quiet country road, camera gear packed neatly beside him. He replays a few seconds of footage, Ilara walking away through the vines, and smiles faintly. He deletes the file, leaving only silence. Some truths don't need witnesses. Outside, the fields glow golden, endless, and forgiving. At a train station beyond the hills, Ilara boards a morning train bound for nowhere in particular. She carries only one small suitcase. As the train begins to move, she looks out the window at the receding vineyards. Her reflection in the glass is calm, almost smiling. For the first time, her story isn't about what they did to her. It's about what she'll do next. The train glides through open countryside. Ilara Voss watches villages slide past like pages turning. The world feels wide again. She thinks of what she left behind, faces frozen in pride and fear. And for the first time, the memories don't sting. Revenge was never about destroying them. It was about reclaiming herself. She opens a notebook, its first page blank, and writes, Chapter 1. The hum of the wheels becomes a heartbeat. Days later, she reaches a seaside town where the air smells of salt and freedom. Ilara rents a room above a cafe and spends her mornings painting. Color replaces anger. Locals greet her simply as the woman with the gray eyes. No one knows her past, and she never volunteers it. Justice, she learns, isn't loud. It's the quiet decision to live well. In another part of the world, Celeste Marlowe volunteers at a local community center, teaching art to children. When one girl shows her a messy sketch of a vineyard, Celeste smiles instead of correcting her. Redemption, she realizes, isn't a speech. It's 1,000 quiet choices. Ezra Quinn releases a short film online. No faces, no names, just footage of wind through vines and sunlight breaking clouds. It's titled Closure. Viewers call it hauntingly peaceful. He never mentions who inspired it, but when the credits fade, a single frame lingers. A still path through a vineyard, empty yet full of light. Evening falls again over the sea. Ilara walks along the shoreline barefoot, waves tracing her footsteps. She stops, looks at the horizon, and lets the salt wind wash through her hair. The past no longer owns her. It simply exists, a story finished. She whispers, "I forgive us all," and smiles as the tide erases her prints. Fade to black.